Hey everybody, this is Troy Alexander, Inspiration with Troy Alexander. We are excited tonight. We have a phenomenal guest that I can't wait to introduce the world to her. But listen, the world probably already knows it, but listen, even more people are gonna know her tonight. We're so excited tonight. Listen, every week we come on to encourage you to follow your dream. Our motto is dream, take that step and walk with purpose into your destiny. So tonight, listen, we're on Facebook, Troy Alexander. Listen, we're on YouTube, Inspiration with Troy Alexander, and our nonprofit, calltoinspire.org, calltoinspire.org. Listen, I got one point of purpose I want to share with you before we introduce our amazing guest tonight. Listen, even if you don't see it right now, that's okay. Keep rising. The sun is just above the clouds. I want to encourage you to keep rising, keep walking in your destiny and your purpose, because there's something above the cloud. Listen, it might be raining here, but as you rise above the cloud, I'm telling you, the sun is still shining. And that means that your destiny and your purpose is still alive, no matter the atmosphere, no matter the forecast, no matter what circumstance might be. You have to know that your destiny is your destiny. So hold on to who you are and continue to follow your dream. Tonight, we have an amazing young lady. My goodness, she is a model, a motivational speaker. She is a disability advocate. Her purpose in life is to educate and inspire others to know who they are in Christ and to share helpful tips on how to gain pure confidence. Let's welcome Amanda C. Clark. How are you, Amanda?
Hello, Mr. Troy. How are you?
I am so excited tonight to have it. Listen, we had one show and we had to cancel it, reschedule it. We had a second show. We had to reschedule, but guess what, y'all? We didn't give up. We are here tonight, and I'm so excited for this amazing opportunity to interview Amanda C. Clark. Amanda, I got to ask you, the first question is, your journey has been truly amazing, and we're going to go into so much of it, but when did you know you had purpose?
That's a really profound question. Thank you for that. I want to say that I always kind of knew I had it with my parents and the way that they taught me, the way that they raised me. I come from, a Christian home where my parents always told me and my brother who we were in Christ. And so I always knew who I was, but I didn't necessarily believe it for myself until years later.
Wow, that is very powerful. And there's a power in belief,
Yeah.
and we're always encouraging, all of our guests, everybody that I meet, listen, you have to believe. No matter what it looks, you have to believe. That's a powerful place to be in. And I want to talk more about that. But I want to ask you, what moment do you think it was, or was it over time that you sort of found your purpose? Like what do you feel helped you to find what your purpose was?
I really believe for me, this is my own personal story, but I really believe that my daughter was a huge inspiration to me when I was on the verge of being confident in who I was. I remember looking at her the day she was born and I said, wow, I did that. Like, I remember looking at her and saying that, and, just looking at her and knowing I don't want her to feel the insecurities that I felt. I don't want her to fight her battles the way that I fought mine. And I knew that something had to change within myself first in order for me to pass that down to the next generation. And so I knew that I couldn't do this by myself, number one, because I had put myself in such a pit that I could not climb out of. So I knew that I would need God's help, and the rest is history. I just went with him and tried him. I tell people all the time, just try him. You literally lost everything else. Just try him.
Wow. What a powerful testimony That was, and even about your daughter and how you didn't want her to have to deal with the same feelings and emotions and insecurities and all of those things. And listen, I'm telling you, when I see your videos, Amanda, and your daughter, listen, I mean, she is such a confident young lady.
Yes.
She's a light of inspiration. I'm like, wow. And let me just say this. When I see your videos, I'm like, where do you get the energy? Where do you get this joy? Where do you get? I'm like, whoa. So where does that come from? Because because not only are you funny, but you are just amazing, uplifting, inspiring. Were you all like, what? I'm like, how do you do your videos? What do you think about as you're doing them? Because they are like uplifting and amazing.
Well, I think the hilarious side of it all comes from my family. Seriously, we are a bunch of goofballs. We are just a bunch of goofballs, but I originally I want to be myself. I just want to show the world that this is me. I don't want to try to be somebody or something that other people are trying to make me to be. The whole point is to show them how I am with my personality, and at the same token, bring awareness to where they can understand it. I tell people all the time, I know what it's like to be a person with a disability, but to someone who doesn't have a disability, you can't just assume that they know everything there is to know about what it is like on this side. And so, it's not about compromise. It's about it's about communication and breaking that barrier to be able to, not just relay information, but also receive information, from both ends of the table. So I've just learned to make a joke out of literally everything. I know like sometimes it's okay to, be serious, and it's okay to, to show that side. But, I think that most people have this interpretation or this assumption about people with disabilities. And it's really not that serious, because we're, we take all the balls that were thrown at us and we turn it around and we, make it humorous for everybody to understand. But we have lives too, just like everyone else. And yeah.
All I can say is wonderful. And I love your videos. I love the inspiration you are. I love the joy that you have. So I want to just ask you, because people are like, is she like that all the time? But before we get there, I want to, did you ever have any moments of doubt prior to possibly having your child, or even afterwards? Did you have any doubt or fear or concern that you would come out of a place of doubt and insecurities and all? Like, did you ever have any moments where you wasn't sure that you were gonna come out of that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was in 10th grade, and I was in high school getting ready to end my life. I was so tired of surviving. I wanted to live, and I didn't see my future. I didn't see who was in it. I just saw what society had made it, and I was tired of it. And I didn't want to go on. I didn't want to go to the next day or do this all over again. I was just tired of the same thing over and over again. And I remember writing a goodbye letter to my mother. And I did it in like a sneaky poem kind of way. And I remember throwing it away during the class. I remember throwing the paper away in the trash can. And I was getting ready to go to the bathroom to do what I wanted to do. And right before I hit the bathroom stall, I hear my name on the intercom. And they tell me, Amanda Johnson, That was my name at the time. Amanda Johnson, go to the main office immediately. I'm like, okay, I'll just do it after. Go to the office, and my jaw dropped when the counselor held up the letter. And she asked me to come into her office, and she asked me what was going on, told me that she understood. I'm like, you can't possibly understand what I'm going through. People are staring at me, they're pointing at me, they're making fun of me. It's life is already hard as a teenager, and then just shadow banning me with all the problems I know exist. But like, I was the center of attention when it came to flaws. And so I just couldn't understand how she could say something like that to me. But then later on, as we're talking, I realized her and I are not that different. She has a lot in common that I did when it came to insecurities. And so, needless to say, the Lord saved me once when I was born. And then he saved me again that day. And I realized, even if I didn't believe it then, what was it about me that made him save my life? What was it about me that he needed me here? You know? And so, even though, like I said, I didn't believe at the time, those thoughts were really like potent within my mind. What was it about me that kept me from doing what I was about to do, you know, in 10th grade? And so I really believe that I've definitely come a long way. But absolutely, I have those moments where I blame God. You know, I used to, you know, really yell at him.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
those kind of prayers, you know, like, why would you do this to me? You know what this world is about. Why would you do this to me knowing they would do what they're doing? Why would you create me like this? You're some God, you know, you created me like this. Wow. Like, thought you said you loved me. These are the kind of things that I would say, you know, because I didn't understand that he's an intentional God. I didn't understand that what he creates is not a mistake. I didn't understand that everyone has a purpose, and that, you know, it's not how he created us is the problem. It's how the mindsets of many is the problem. And so, yeah, absolutely, I had doubt.
Wow, wow, Amanda. This is that what you just shared has saved so many people. And thank goodness for the counselor finding the note, or being given the note, and to hear your name in that moment. Right. I thought about Abraham and Isaac when you were talking, and about how he was about to sacrifice, and the angel said, "Wait a minute, go look over there in the brush." And there was a ram over there in the brush, and how you heard the intercom. In that moment, you went down, and there was a shift. And so I'm grateful for that moment that happened, because you are such an inspiration to this world, and we need you. The world needs you, Amanda C. Clark, and everything that you're giving to it, and you're offering and inspiring. And guess what? That 10th grader needs you. The 7th grader needs to hear your story, right? Because they're dealing with even greater now with the internet and social media, right? And all the stuff. So they need to hear your story. So thank you for not giving up and but holding on even after that, for holding on. So thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much. We're so grateful for you, and so grateful to God because He has purpose in your life, as you already know now. But we're so grateful for you. So my goodness, I have to ask you now, when you give your motivational speeches, when you go out and you're invited to share, is there one thing that you focus on, or what would be the main thing that you want your audience to walk away with knowing?
I always say, because it doesn't matter who I'm speaking to, It doesn't matter whether they're saved or they have another religion or they don't have a religion at all. I say one thing and I say one thing only. You may not serve the God I serve, but you like my confidence. You like it, don't you? And you want it. And there's only one way that I got it. Everybody has their own way of doing things. You know, I see these, you know, half of these people out here who look as if they have confidence, you know, of this world. Let me just put it like that. Confidence of this world. But there's one thing that I've learned, a valuable lesson from this world versus following God. And there's one thing that literally separates the two, and that's peace. Because you can go ahead and you can, you know, wear the finest things and you can get all dolled up and you can go and party with your friends, your a million friends and all of this. But at night, you only have you and your thoughts.
Wow.
You know,
Power.
and so there's only one thing between those two bridges that I can depict from, whereas though I have peace that passes all understanding, even things that don't make any sense. People who do me wrong, people who treat me wrong. How can you forgive them? How can you do this? How can you do that? And it's not me. It's not the confidence of this world. It's the confidence that I know that is true, that has been ingrained in my heart from the Holy Spirit. And that is, I know who I am. That can't be shaken.
I love it. I love it, Amanda. I'm just in awe of you. I'm inspired by you. I'm encouraged, you know, and you know, I can share my testimony, but I won't. But most people know it, you know, having stuttered as a child growing up in elementary school and junior high and high school, you know, it was to the point where I didn't even know how I could get a job or how I could live because I couldn't talk, you know. And so, you know, we're going to share more, but it was just, so I, you know, just going through different experiences. And like you said, why me, God? You know, why do I have to go? But now, you know, having two shows and this live broadcast and sharing and motivational, and I look back, right, and I can share people. Listen, I know what fear is, right? I know what doubt is, and I know what all these. So, and not only that, everybody, listen, she's a motivational speaker. She's an advocate, a disability advocate, but she's a model. Yeah, I said it. She's a model. And listen, Amanda, you just came back from New York Fashion Week. So you have to tell me, what was your experience like on the runway? What was that whole experience like? Because I believe also you were given the opportunity to model for a name brand clothing industry whose goal is to create diverse clothing for individuals that have disabilities or with disabilities. What was that experience like? Because I saw the videos. I saw the videos and beautiful. And I saw you being interviewed. I don't know if that was after the show or days later, but tell us about that experience.
Wow, it was mind blowing. You know, it was like a dream. And I remember it was like 5 minutes before I went on stage, and I was like, I'm going on a runway. Really doing this. 34 years old, and I'm really doing this. And it was honestly, it was nothing but God's timing. I always said to myself, I always was like that person. It was like, man, God, you know, that person is being blessed. That person is being blessed. That person, I'm over here doing work. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't getting nowhere. I'm doing the work. I ain't getting nowhere. And what I tell people now, because I'm like, I don't think anybody's ever said this. You know, you go to seminars and you go to classes and you pay all this money, but what they're not telling you is that it's just in God's time. Wow, there is nothing you can do to force his hand. When it is time, it is time. Now, yes, you have to do the work to get there. You do have to do the work because God says to show yourself approved. So you do have to do the work. But when it's time, will you be ready? And, you know, I remember we had went through something with my son, when my youngest son, he had got really sick. And I had lost the best job, at least I thought at the time, as a teacher, to teach children. And the awareness that I was able to bring to that school did so much for me. And I was so sad. I was like, God, this is a good job, and I'm leaving this. I finally get to be somewhere that I wanted to be. And you know, my whole ordeal in Beauty Mark community is to bring awareness within the school district in itself, because I feel like that's where it's lacking the most. And so I'm finally getting my foot in the door. I'm like going to the dean's offices, and I'm going to the Board of Education and all this. And then everything just stopped. I'm like, how you gonna put me in this position? What are you doing? Like, I know you got, but what are you doing?
Wow.
And, you know, little did I know, if I was to hinder myself from letting go, I would have never experienced the stuff that I'm doing right now. And, you know, and so I'm really grateful for Gamut Management is who I am working for. And the CEO is Mindy Shire, and she is just absolutely phenomenal. She did this. She started this organization for people with disabilities. She branded out from different major companies like Tommy Hilfiger, Zappos Adaptive. Tommy Hilfiger was the first one, actually. Dior and Tiffany's and Co. And I mean, so many major companies that we all know of. And she is forcing their hand to make their things adaptive for people with disabilities. And it all started with a love of for her son. Her son had a congenital bone beauty mark is what I like to call them. And he couldn't put on certain pants. He couldn't wear jeans. He could only wear sweatpants. And she got her fashion, you know, her fashionista brains together, and she created some pants for him that was adapted to him, and everything just like went from there. She said, hey, if you are like this, then how many other people in this population is like that? And so she ran with that, and I'm just so grateful that they looked on little me, because because I'm 34 and you know, I ain't got it the way everybody else got it, but you know, I'm just really, really excited in what God is doing, because so many doors are opening, and I'm just running through it. I'm just running right through it.
Listen, Amanda, all I know is you are a top model. Now listen, that's all I can say. America's not next, but you are America's top. You are you beautiful, awesome, and your energy and your personality, it just shines through, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And so all I know, like I said, Tommy Hilfiger, Dior, Zach, listen, y'all better sign her up now. Well, I guess you already went with the mess, but all I know is they better hire you to do their next show. So that's all I know. It's just get ready to travel the world and get ready to just shine as you are the light, that as you are a light. And so I'm so proud of you, Amanda, and just the doors that are opening for you. And all I can say is get ready, Paris Fashion Week. Get ready wherever. I'm telling you, get your passport, get your traveling shoes ready, because more doors are going to open for you. And I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. I have to ask you, I love the fact that you call it Beauty Mark. How did that come about? Because I think that is, when you change the narrative and you change the conversation and you change how things are defined, that's a powerful, when you can change language, that's powerful. where did Beauty Mart come from?
So I was about, I want to say 20 years old. I was about 20 years old. I was getting ready to have my daughter at the time. I was still pregnant. And I remember hanging out with a group of friends of mine. And I will never forget my one friend, Frankie. He's just such a sweetheart. He's amazing. He's like a big teddy bear. And I remember, hanging out with them, and there were a group of his friends that we were about to approach. And I'm like, oh gosh, I never meet these people before. Somebody's bound to ask me the $1 million question, what happened to your arm? And I, at the time, I really didn't even know how to approach or like how to respond with that kind of approach, because I didn't know how to like give a resume about myself in 60 seconds. I didn't know how to do that. And honestly, people don't want to hear, this is how I was born. They want to hear some crazy story, got bit by a shark, or this is what happens when you don't listen to your parents. I don't know. They want to hear this major thing, except for the reality of it. And I know it's boring. This is just how I was born. That's it. That's all you get. And sure enough, a young lady was about to ask me, and before she even could get everything out, Frankie goes, "Hey, chill. It's her beauty mark. Leave her alone." I was like,
Wow.
Beauty mark?
Wow.
And I didn't say anything that day. I didn't say anything next week. I didn't say anything for a year. As a matter of fact, I didn't say anything for 12 years. Because he never knew how that word gave me my dignity back. He never knew that word inspired me to know who I was. And from then on, I said, the day he said that, and it gave me what I know to be true, I wouldn't do that to so many other people. And I remember talking to some coaches of mine at the time, and before it was called Beauty Mark Community, it was called Imperfect Warriors. And I remember talking to one of my my coaches, and she's like, "You keep saying this word beauty mark, though. You keep saying this word beauty mark." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's what I identify my disability as." She's like, "Why don't you just call it Beauty Mark Community?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So it's important that you have mentors,
yes,
and people that's in your circle that have wisdom from God, because I'm telling you, if I would have never had that meeting, it would have probably taken me even that much longer to get this name.
Wow.
So, it's important who you have in your circle.
Right. That's right. I love it. I love it, Amanda. Beauty Mark is such an inspiring word and uplifting. And that's what, because again, you are beautiful. I mean, that's, so it's, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I have to ask you, so tell me about this modeling, like prior to New York Fashion Week, how much involved were you with modeling?
So I'm still a baby at it, I'm freshly in it, about, I want to say, going on 3 months now. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm freshly in it, but I'm just excited. I can't believe it, honestly. Sometimes I'm like, I'm really doing this. Whenever I get a call or an email, I'm like, they want me? Really?
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
so I mean, it's really exciting. And to know that, there's still not a young lady out there like me on a magazine, or a young lady like me on a billboard. I may be the first, and to let another little girl or little boy know, hey, you can do this too. That is what I'm looking forward to. That right there.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen, all I can do is shout, Amanda, because I see it. I see you on the billboard. I see you on the commercial. I see you riding driving down the street in New York, seeing your face and your body on a cab going by. I said, I know her. That's Amanda C. Clark, right? So seeing all of these visions, and I'm telling you right now, I am so excited for you. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. Listen, I want to sign an autograph picture. Like when it get there, I want to make sure I get a sign because I'm so excited for you and what's coming next for you. It is such an inspiring, uplifting journey that you have, but just who you are. That's enough, right? Just who you are. And I love that about you. I love that about you. So listen, what keeps you motivated, right? Because I have to imagine, right, with all this, at some time you must get like tired, or you have to get like just what keeps you motivated? What gives you that extra push to take the next step?
Besides my family, I'll say it's a balance. Okay, so both my family and my walk with God, because with my boys, they both have beauty marks themselves. So I'm making sure that I lay that pathway for them for when they get older. And then, passing the baton to my daughter as an advocate, because even though she doesn't have a disability, she's just much as an advocate as they are. So, and I understand the importance of a person who doesn't have a disability that needs to speak for people who do have disabilities. So besides my family, I would definitely say my foundation is the words of God over my life. They are so important because when everybody else is saying something else to me, I know that his words are true. His words are ingrained in my heart. His words are going to get me out of whatever situation I'm in. His words are always going to lift me up. They're going to always inspire me. They're going to always make me be this happy, go lucky person that I am. I'm not always like this. No, I'm human too. I have my moments. I have my moments. There are so many things that have happened in my life that you would just be like, what? No, you're lying. But it happened. And how I am still able to smile is God. It's just God.
Wow.
Honestly.
Listen, I'm telling you, man, I'm seeing you now. I see your videos. I see all that you're doing. And I mean, you are a true advocate, right? And that's somebody that fights. And I love the fact that at one point you were willing to give up on life, but now, right, you fight not only for you, but you fight for others, right? That's a powerful place to be in. Did you ever think that you would be in a place that you actually advocate and fight and give voice to others in need?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. How would I have ever known to have the courage to do this? No. Would I have ever thought in a million years that I would not be afraid of stepping on some toes? No, never. The way that the Lord has my heart set up, I could literally walk in the White House and tell them about what they did in the First Amendment and change that thing right there. Just put every word that they put out there and decree and declare and all of that and put it right back in their face and then change the game right there. Because that's how much courage the Lord has given to me. I know it's not my time yet. I know it's not my season yet, but that's where I stand. I'm not compromising because of a paycheck, or I'm not going to compromise because of, we want to put certain people out here to represent without being scared or whatever have you. I'm not compromising. I don't mind stepping on toes. And I told people all the time, I'm not your friend. I'm not coming out here to make to make buddy. I'm coming out here to make awareness. and that is it. So
go ahead, Amanda. Listen, I'm like, you go. Listen, this is what, because you motivate, you inspire, you have the voice, and continue to use your wonderful and powerful voice to affect change and giving voice to others that don't quite have their own voice just of yet, but continue doing what you're doing. It's amazing. I love it. I'm so inspired. So listen, I got to ask you, because you're an advocate, you're a model. Listen, I'm telling you, everybody, please hire her now, because all I know is she's gonna be in demand. So you might as well get in the low budget now, because after a while it's gonna cost too much. But just all that you're doing with the advocacy, modeling, and again, I saw recently that you got an award, an anti-bullying award from last December. What did that mean to you to be recognized in that way?
I was honored, actually, to know that I came from that part in my life, overcoming that part. It means a lot to me, because I know that there are still a lot of teenagers out here, even young adults, even adults, who are still trying to figure out who they are, because they are still weighing out the demands of others, the opinions of others, and they're such a people pleaser that they have forgotten, who they truly are. And so it means a lot to me to be recognized like that, because don't get me wrong, I hear all this, I hear you're such an inspiration, but I'm just me. And to have that recognition is just like, wow, that's not even what I was aiming for. I'm just trying to show people their purpose, and that they can live. You don't have to survive. It's not God's intention for you to survive. He wants you to live. He wants you to have, the best. And so, but people have, even the relationship with him, they have this perception or persona about him that is so misunderstood. And so, if, I told the Lord a long time ago, well, not that long time ago, my cousin had passed away. She was very young. And I said right there at that funeral, I said, Lord, I will not shut up anymore. I won't stay silent anymore. Not another young person. Not another young person, not another soul lost, because I can't do it. I cannot sit there, know a person, and not pour out or pour in. I can't do it anymore, because it's killing me that they're having a slow death, all because they don't know who they are and they're just lost. So, whether or not I'm talking about what God has done in my life, just look at my life in itself and know that this is a miracle. This is a testimony. This is not my own doing. I couldn't have done it myself.
Wow. Well, listen, I have to say that you said some powerful words there, and I don't want to leave them. You said, I don't want to just survive. I want to live. Right. And that is such a powerful statement, right? I don't want to just continue to hope I make it, right? But I know I'm going to make it, right? I know that I'm getting through this. I'm coming out of it. I'm going through. And I love the fact that you're there to help and support others and uplift them and say, listen, you ain't in this by yourself. Yeah. I'm here to be a support to you, to encourage you and let you know we're going to get through this together. So thank you for just being a wonderful advocate for so many. I wanted to talk a little bit about your ribbon That's your backdrop. I love it. And we talked about before the broadcast, and just share with us, because I think it's so inspiring about the ribbon and the symbolism and the meaning and the power behind it.
Okay, so let me move out the way so you guys can see it, because I really want you to capture it. This is a symbol for all abilities, okay? Because Beauty Mark community, let me start. Sorry. I didn't want to just be a representation for one ability within the community. There's so many different beautiful, beautiful abilities within this community. It's over 1 billion people in my population alone. And so just putting a wheelchair for someone in the disability community does not represent us in entirety. So if you really take a look, there's so many different abilities. No, I couldn't fit every single last one of them on the ribbon, but I think you get the meaning by just looking at this ribbon. And I fought for this. I fought for this ribbon because
Yes, you did, y'all.
I did. I really did fight for this ribbon, because a lot of people told me I couldn't do it. A lot of people told me that I was nuts for doing it, that I could not represent the whole community, the whole disability community. And you know what? What is for you, it is for you. It's not for anybody else. So this is what God laid on my heart, and this is what he gave me. And it's just, isn't it beautiful?
Listen,
so
I want to get my ribbon. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I want a t-shirt with my ribbon on it. I want a ribbon pin. I want all of that. So
the blue represents the physical disability, because when I go to presentations, when I do presentations in elementary school, I use Nemo and Dory as an illustration for disability so they can understand. So Dory is orange because Dory has a physical disability, and blue is, I said Dory. Orange is for Nemo. It's for Nemo because Nemo has a physical disability, and blue represents Dory because she has an internal disability. So that's where you get the blue and the orange from. And then the rest is, all the abilities in our community. Powerful.
Well, listen, Amanda, I'm just so in awe of you right now, and all that God has done through you, and for you realizing to believe in your purpose, knowing you even have purpose. I love that. It's a powerful place to be in. And I'm always encourage people to find your purpose, right? Know what your purpose is, because it gives you an existence to live, right? And to even grow further beyond that. So I got to ask you, is there anything else that you're aspiring? Do you want to be on a larger platform? Do you want to do more modeling and share that platform? Are there other platforms that you aspire to be on?
God knows my heart. He knows my heart. He knows what I want to do. But okay. I have learned a valuable lesson in my journey. I've learned such a valuable lesson, and that is patience. Patience. I cannot rush it. I cannot try to manipulate it. I have to just go with the flow. And so when that door of opportunity opens and it's knocking at me, I'm going to run right through that door. But until then, I'm going to continue to do what I've been called to do, which is to bring awareness and help other people just build up their confidence. And so when I'm not modeling, that's what I'm doing. When I'm not, writing, that's what I'm doing. So yeah.
Well, listen, all I can say, I just want to say, man, listen, I do, separate from my 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, I do photography on the side, and I love taking photos. So whatever way I can be a support to you, I don't know exactly where you are, but if you're ever in the Jersey area, of course I'm in Jersey, but whatever, listen, I would love to support you. And We can capture you. You can use them to continue to further support and uplift the cause and the mission, and whatever I can do to help be a support this platform as well. Just so proud of you and all that you're doing, and even that which is to come. I know it's even greater. So listen, I saw this in your bio, how you want to see others win, right? And I love that about you. What does it mean to you, and what does it make you feel? How make you feel when you see other people winning?
In the right way, when they win the right way, because there's two ways that you can win, right? Like I said in the beginning, when it comes to confidence, there's the world's confidence and then there's godly confidence. And winning is the same way. And so when I say I want you to win, that means forget all the stuff here. That's temporary, right? I'm talking about eternal winning. Like you get your inheritance and some winning. Like like if you gone, you still leaving a legacy kind of winning. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. And you can't get that. You can't get there until you cross the threshold of knowing who you are. And so I'm just like, when I say I just want people to win, I just want people to know who they are. I just want them to know their confidence. I want them to know how loved they are. Like, like just picture for a moment, right? Like, if you don't know who you are, right? Let me just give you a glimpse or an idea of how much you're worth. We all know who's created by God. So in one point in your life, you were created by a king's hands. And not just created by a king's hands. It says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. So form, if you look at the definition, the biblical definition of form, it's talking about predestined. So he premeditated on you before he even created that which he thought of. So you were a thought to him before you were created. That means he took his time on you. That means you're worth his time, not everybody else. I'm talking about his time. You were worth his time. So you're worth his time. Then you were intentionally created. And then not only intentionally created with this body that you have on the outside, but you also have a purpose on the inside. What? You already have a purpose on the inside. And that part he already created before he created you. Listen. So if you don't know your worth, that right there should be enough to know that you were created in a king's hands. So, like, I don't know about you, but if I'm created in a king's hand, like if there's a king in a palace and he's like, hey, go give me some clay, and he creates this thing, you really think that he's like that thing is going to be sold off for auction for $1?
Oh.
If it's coming from a king's hands, so you are worth so much more because of him alone. And then people are just like trying to still figure that out because they don't understand how somebody like him could love somebody like them. But if you're thinking too much about that part, you'll miss it. You'll literally miss it. So I want people to win. I want people to understand their worth in God. I want people to understand, like, they were literally intentionally created for his likeness, his goodness, and for all that he has for us. Like, you got to know that part. You just got to know that part.
Listen, man, when are you going on tour? Listen, I'm just telling you, I see tour dates. I'm just saying. I
Amen.
see I I I see tour dates coming.
Well, I do have,
Uh-huh.
I do have I'm jumping out. I'm doing this in a leap of faith. For the first time, I'm having a conference
Uh-huh.
ever.
Listen, I knew it. I knew there was a platform somewhere bigger than what you're telling me right now. But go ahead.
And literally, the Lord showed me that I need to start sharing my testimony, both the spiritual part and the physical part, because a lot of people want to tell you, hey, just go with God, just do this and he'll do this and that's great. That's great. But I need the physical part too, because I am human, right? And so I do have those moments where I do have doubt. And what do I do when I have doubt? And what do I do when people hurt me? What do I do? And how do I get there? It does take a process. So he finally gave me this opportunity to have this conference. I'm doing it in complete fear because I have absolutely nothing. When I tell you, I have no job. I'm literally going with God, and he has provided since. And it's called Beauty for Ashes, and it's coming up in November. And it's going to start with how God views disabilities, but it's going to end with us in entirety, just knowing who we are, knowing our worth, and how if God did it for me, he could do it for you. So that's how that's going to end. But I'm excited about that. It comes up in November. I'm excited.
Listen. You have to let me know whatever I can do, whether it's advertise for you, whether it's if I'm available, I'll be your photographer for the day or whatever you need me to do. Whatever you need me to do. I just want because I knew there was something bigger that God had in store for you. And as you were talking, I heard, and I not just heard, I saw, but heard really, tour dates. Like I saw this platform that you're on, and you're sharing your and the one thing that I'm able to connect with you with is that before the pandemic, we had a platform where we had a first lady of a church, and I was a deacon in the church, and we had a minister here, and we had this person with titles, and we came together to let people know that when people are hurting physically and naturally, the only answer can't be just pray about it. There
Right.
has to be a conversation, right? How do you deal with that natural component, right? But then also understanding the power of the spiritual. So we
Right.
brought people on, right? We had a group of people who were just like, listen, we're in agreement. That can't be the only, yes, it's a part of it, right? It's a part of the healing process, but it can't be the only answer. And what you just said, Amanda, is exactly what we were trying to do and what we did, what God did before the pandemic during that time was come together. And so I love that about you. So listen, I'm excited about what's happening in November. I don't know if it's gonna go from there to somewhere else or another part of the year or multiple, but all I know is that it's gonna grow and because people are going to be literally taken from a place of doubt and fear and feeling alone,
Mhm.
knowing that there's a community, a beauty a beauty mark community that's there to support them and uplift them. And I'm telling you, Amanda, when you said beauty for ashes, wow, like I felt that, Amanda. I was like, listen, there's no limit.
Amen.
That's it. There's no limit. So listen, it might look like two fish and five loaves, but get ready for the overflow and the 12 baskets left over. All I know is get ready, Amanda, because it's coming. Wow, I'm excited for you. I'm
Amen.
so and I'm excited for everyone that will be touched by you being obedient and you taking that leap of faith and believing. And wow, That's it. So listen, I'm my only last few questions are like, is there anything else that you're working on that you want to share with us? Is there a part of your journey that we have not touched upon at this time?
Nope, that's it. That's it. That's where I'm at right now.
Well, listen, all I can say is thank you so much. I do want to ask you though, just three more really quick questions. What would you say to someone that came up to you and said, Amanda, I hear you, but I don't quite see my dream coming to pass. I don't quite see beyond the now moment. What would you say to encourage them to hold on to their dream?
Um, Honestly, in moments where people couldn't encourage me, I encouraged myself. Um, so I would write scriptures on the walls. I would write, positive affirmations to myself on the wall. And I called it an encouragement wall. And that way, every day, no matter before I got up out of the bed, I saw that. And so what happened was repetition happened, repetition happened, repetition happened. And every day that I would see those words, not even knowing that the first day I got hit with something that hurt, the first thing that I remembered was those words on the walls. And so when you see it, that's why God says to write the vision down and make it plain so you can run with that thing so that nobody can, taint it. So what I would say to that person is, even though you don't believe it now, if you could believe a lie, then you could believe the truth. And the truth is that God has so much more for you. And you just have to write that thing down, say it out loud, watch yourself in the mirror and say that. And I'm not talking about, this bogus stuff that they got going on today with the whole meditation and what is it? What is that?
I
It's not.
think so. I think so.
Oh gosh, all that stuff. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really speaking God's words over your life and watching yourself in the mirror and saying those things. I am a child of God. I am fearfully, I am wonderfully made. I am born in his likeness and in his image. These are the things that he already said over your life. But for some reason, at that time and moment, it's hard to believe it. When you keep saying those things, you will come to grips with it. And when you do, the rest is history. Like, ain't nobody going to be able to tell you anything.
Right.
They're not going to be able to tell you anything. They ain't going to be able to tear you down. So write it down. I would say write it down.
Wow. Well, listen, all I can say is not only will they overcome by the blood of the Lamb, but by the word of your testimony. And so that is what I'm excited about, for people to be inspired and overcome and see. So if they can't see it in themselves, they can see it in you, Amanda, and see it in those who are going to be sharing however you're going to go forward. But I'm excited for you, and what's to come, and those who are touched by you. I can't wait. I'm telling you that the name of that conference. Wow. I was like, go ahead, Amanda. I mean, go God, whatever. Listen, I'm
Yeah,
just
go
telling you right
God,
now.
go God.
Go God, go God. Listen, it's we know it's him, but we are the vessels, right? And so he uses those who are willing to be. So thank you for being willing to be used by God. Listen, is there anyone, I know God is number one, but is there anyone else that you want to acknowledge that has been a part of your journey thus far that you want to just give a shout out to? You don't have to, because I know sometimes we don't want to get in trouble if forgetting anybody, but but we always give the platform that if you want to acknowledge anyone that has been a part of your journey thus far, you can.
Yes, absolutely. I would say my husband, my wonderful husband. He has been such a huge supporter in my journey. Always believed in me, even when I was doubting myself. He said, babe, you could do it. You got this. I believe in you. there would be times where he would cry about my own, journey. And I'm like, wow, it's like, I'm not even crying, but he would see it. He saw it before I saw it. And that always inspired me, to know that he's always got my back. So definitely my husband been my main supporter, my cheer man.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And his first name?
Keith.
Keith. All right, Keith. Listen, we want to give a shout out to Keith. And just wonderful, wonderful. And we just thank you so much, Amanda. So where can people follow you? Where can people find you on various platforms?
There is a ton of things that I'm on. So if you want to find me, I tell people the easiest way to find me is Google me. So if you type in Amanda C. Clark, everything will show up. My website, all my social media accounts, even YouTube, everything will show up, everything will pop up, everything is there. So just Google me, Amanda C. Clark.
Well, Amanda, thank you so much. Listen, any final word before I let you go?
Yes. And you can say this with me. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I am brave.
I am brave.
I am loved.
I am loved.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am successful.
I am successful.
I am God's child.
I am God's child.
I am enough.
I am enough. Listen, Amanda, I just want to say thank you so much. Again, it's been a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege. And I mean what I say, whatever way I can support you in what God is doing through you, or just in any other platform that you're a part of. As I said, the modeling, if you want to do some photo shoots, again, I mainly do outside or inside a venue, but just on location. That's what I love doing. So definitely, I'm here to support you in doing whatever that in that part of your journey, as well as this amazing conference. Whatever I can do to be a support to you, just know that I'm here. So don't hesitate to reach out and say, hey, Troy, you got some thoughts, ideas, can you, and I've been, God has blessed me to, plan conferences. I've done conferences. I've done fundraising events for Concerts for Africa and different things where we've, put together a lot of events with a lot of different talent people. So we have a lot of experience in planning. So whatever way I can be a support to you, don't hesitate to call me and just reach out, because I am a fan. I am a fan of your light, your inspiration, your joy, your purpose, who you are, and just what you're doing to inspire and uplift others. So thank you so much, Amanda C. Clark. I so appreciate you. You are amazing. And thank you again for this honor. Everybody, listen, Amanda C. Clark, follow her, Google her. But listen, every week we try to come on here to inspire you, to uplift you, to walk in your purpose. Our motto, dream, take that step, and walk with purpose into your destiny. Thank you so much again, Amanda. We appreciate you. Continue to follow her, stay connected with her, and listen, go get your dream. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support. I appreciate you. You are worth your dream. Have a good night. Thank you, Amanda. Have a good night, everybody.